What up, guys? My name is Billy. I'm an artist based out of Tampa, Florida, coming at you with another video. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, or I'll show up at your bedside tonight poking your eye holes out with alcohol markers. And go ahead and like the video, it helps the algorithm. I know I'm being needy, but you can follow me on Instagram. That's where I post other content and whatnot. I'd appreciate the follow. Alright, y'all, so this video is absolutely for beginners. If you just got some new alcohol markers, I'm here to help you. Because I would say there is a little bit of a learning curve when it comes to alcohol-based markers versus your traditional water-based markers, and that you can actually blend with them. And let me tell you, when you get the technique down, when you get it right, it can just elevate your art. You know what I'm saying? Blending is really all about layering your colors correctly in the right order and using the technique that works best for you. I'm going to show you a few very basic techniques of blending and how to apply them. But yeah, for these examples, I'm going to be using Ohuhu alcohol-based marker, my absolute go-to. The best quality for the best affordability. Affordability. But yeah, I'm babbling. Let's go ahead and get this started. Again, please like the video if you learned anything. Subscribe for more, please. And you know what? You don't have to like the video. That's why there's a dislike button. Like the video if you like it, dislike it if you don't like it. Hit that don't like button if you don't like it. Be honest with me here. Alright, y'all, so here's a scoop. I'm going to show you 3 different examples using 3 different circles, just the fundamentals before I actually apply it to a character. So on the first circle, I'm going in thoroughly with elongated circles pretty much, taking my time, making sure that I go over it, you know, maybe 2 or 3 times to make sure I get the darkest tone of this color, making sure that it's not splotchy, you know, it's not streaking. So then I'm going to take the second color, my second tone of blue, and I'm just going to create a blend. So I do that by coloring in the right side of the circle and then taking my lighter tone that I used on the left side and just blending out the middle there, because that's what you want, is that you want that smooth transition between colors. I know that one's not the smoothest, but you get my point. Second circle, I'm doing the same thing pretty much, but I'm adding 3 colors instead of 2, so doing the same thing if you can see it. I wish I would have slowed it down, but I thought that this circle looked a lot like space, so I actually wanted to take a Posca pen here and just add some stars to it. Just kind of showing off the you know, the mixed media binder, and yeah, just showing you that alcohol markers, like depending on the kind of transition, the blend that you get, you can make some cool stuff with it. And real quick on the first circle, I want to show you how I use the colorless blender. In case you didn't know, you can actually swatch the colorless blender, which is basically just an alcohol marker with no pigmentation, but you can swatch it on certain areas when you're making art to give it like cool textured effects. Like here I'm doing it on the sky to kind of give it an atmospheric look, to make it look like there's clouds in the background, not just a flat blue sky. So moving on to the third circle, I'm using R2, R4, and R7, pretty much just going lightest to darkest. And what I'm going to do here is use a numerical system. As you can see there on the right, it's 1 through 3, 1 being the lightest, 3 being the darkest. I'm going to apply the same technique here. I'm going to go in elongated circles, make sure it's completely filled out, no streakiness, no splotchiness before I move on to my next color. I always recommend working lightest to darkest. It's just easier that way with alcohol markers. So I have the first color in. I'm going to put it back, put my number 1 back, and pick up number 2. Doing the same thing, yo. Going in, taking my time. Let's speed this up a little bit though and get it colored in, and let me show you here. Just going to color in the rest, take number 1 again, and again blend out that middle section, that frigid section, because that's the goal, to get that smooth color transition. So I take number 1 and I blend out that between 1 and 2. I blend out colors 1 and 2 with 1, and then I go in with number 3 and I color in the right side. I'm getting my absolute darkest tone in there. Once I'm done with number 3, I pick up number 2 again and I blend out that middle section. God, I sound like a kindergarten person. But yeah, that's pretty much the technique. I started with 1, went to 2, went back to 1, then to 3, then to 2. As long as you practice, you'll get it. Now let's apply it to an actual character. So I'm going to sketch up freehand this Squidward real quick, and I'm going to make him code red Squidward. He's going to be red. I always like changing up the colors and stuff. But pretty much just using Copic fine liners to get this done, and a Sharpie to give some different line weights there. But now, using R1, R4, and R7, you're going to see how I would design a character to make sure that I give it dimension. You know what I mean? You want your character to have depth. If your character's flat, then it's going to be less appealing. So I'm starting with the nose. Using the lightest tone first, working from lightest to darkest. So I put number 1 down, I grab the darker tone, and what I'm going to do now is just start to develop his dimension. So the sides of his nose, if I was standing in front of this fool with a light on him, the sides of his nose would appear darker, right? Because it's not flat. It's got a sphericalness to it. So we're going to go in on the sides with the darker tone and just start to develop that dimension. And once we do that, we pick up the lightest tone again and we blend that out so that it's smooth. You know what I mean? The smoother, the better. So blend it out and just give it the depth that it needs before moving on to the next portion. So this is the R7, the darkest tone that I'm using. I'm just going in on the very edges of the nose to kind of finalize it here. Then I'm going to move on to the rest of his face, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use R1, the lightest tone, and I'm just going to go in and color every spot, taking my time. There is no rushing this, except when I time lapse it, of course. But there's number 1, you guys, flat. Now I'm taking number 2, the medium color, and I'm going on the sides of the head to give it the appearance that the back of his head is further back, which it is. So yeah, just work with it till it makes sense. Again, this is only using 3 shades. You can use more, you can use less, but I find 3 gives it the perfect amount of depth without oversaturating, so to speak. But yeah guys, just remember, whenever you're coloring, you have your lightest shade, your medium shade, and your darkest shade. Your darkest shade needs to be in the back, and your lightest shade needs to be up front. And that's how you give your characters dimension. And if you practice these techniques, just practice blending them together, you will get better over time, but you do have to be consistent in practice. But now just throwing a quick label on it to show you where I placed my colors. I do hope this helped, guys. Yeah, it's all about layering. Alright guys, there it is. I hope this helped a little bit. I'm gonna call that Code Red Squidward. I always like taking the colors and changing them, because like you never know what the artist may have done if they didn't choose like that traditional teal color that he actually is. And it gives it a little dabble of originality, you know? But yo, nobody kind of blends and does art the same. Everybody does it a little bit different. Everybody understands it differently. But the whole point of this video is kind of to break down the basics. And of course, you're not going to get better overnight. You're not going to get better with me just telling you these tips and things. You have to apply them. I watched all the videos I could, and I didn't get better overnight. It's just something that comes with time, muscle memory, and just having confidence in yourself and kind of trusting the process that you'll get better. But yeah, alcohol markers should be fun. If it ain't, what are you doing? But thanks so much for watching. Until next time, peace.